Afternoon. My name's Ty Genteman, or better known as Connor's dad. So this is my 1970 Chevy C10 truck. It looks like basically looks like a 1972 because of the way the grill's set up, but I wanted to look like a 72. I like the 8-crate grill, but it's a 1970. It was about 5 years in the build process. Mark's Customs built the truck for me. There's a bunch of other people that are thinking that, but that list is long, as everybody knows that builds trucks, or builds any vehicle really. But this is 1970. It started basically as a basket case. And what I mean by that, it literally was in pieces. And as we started getting into the build, and again, as I say, it's really Mark's Customs and Donnie Bright who did the paint job for me, this turned into be a rust bucket. The whole bed is new. Basically 70–80% of the truck is all new sheet metal. Everything else was just rusted out. And anytime you buy an old vehicle, multiple builds, multiple processes along the way, you're going to find that out. So this had about an inch of Bondo on the doors, about an inch of Bondo in the door sills. So the only thing original to the truck really is the top 3/4 of the cab and the front fenders. The frame is the original frame. It's obviously been modified to get the stance right, but it was a long process and a lot of, I told my wife I felt like I just drove by with shovels of money and put it in there every time I walked by the truck. Give the guys a lot of credit. They put up with me, all my little things I want to have just done right, but they did a really good job on the truck. Again, paint was done by Donnie Bright. It's just a deep black, which I like. I never thought I'd have a black vehicle. It shows everything. So it means every flaw, every detail, it's got to be perfect. Anybody that knows Donnie Bright knows that he does perfect paint jobs. So he's the one that did the paint job. And then Detailing Garage are the folks that did the ceramic coating for me. So they did a good job there. They do the final, I'm going to say, touches of a vehicle. Anytime you get it out of a workshop, there's always a few little minor details, and they basically help touch all that stuff. The wheels are Billet Specialties. They're 19-inch wheels, so these are 8-inch up front, 12-inch in the back. This is a Ring Brothers mirrors that we put on here, along with Ring Brothers bezel. These are not Ring Brothers. These are out of Arizona Performance, but I wanted to try to match. The theme of the truck really was to get it black, a little bit of chrome, some billet on there. And so what we did is you got billet wheels, billet mirrors, billet door handles, billet door bezel, billet steering wheel, and then we put the bezel strips in the bed. So that way it all kind of theme flows together. The interior is actually a nice maroon color. It's hard to find a maroon stain. So what we did was mixed paint to match the interior and used paint for the bed instead of stain. Everybody looks at that and says, that's a nice, what color stain? It's a cherry stain, but it's not really a stain. It's a paint that was applied in and then rubbed out to make it look like a nice stain. So this is a nice oak wood bed. Obviously the tubs from putting the wider tires in the rear, these are actually 345s on the back, so the same size that goes on a Viper. So they're got a little bit of meat, which helps for the traction. But it's this all CPP undercarriage, so that's all a match set going through. It has the LS3 conversion kit, MagnaFlow exhaust, 12-bolt posi rear end. It's been painted to match everything, so the bumpers are painted just like the paint job on the truck. And so I didn't want to get too much chrome. I know a lot of us old school guys can go crazy with the chrome. I didn't necessarily want to do that, so I wanted to try to make it a clean-looking truck. And so in the end, I think we were able to achieve that goal because I didn't want to just have too much bling, but you want to have just enough, I think. So it turned out pretty good. One neat feature I liked what they did here was when they put the gas tank in, they basically modified it so the gas cap is a push. I never had to take it out. So I just push the nozzle in and fill the tank, which makes it nice because trying to get that gas cap off and my fat hands in there doesn't usually work too good. Let's see, what else can I tell you about the truck? I said billet specialty wheels. It didn't have a billet specialty steering wheel when we first did the first build. Had problems with the original steering wheel, so we took it out and installed this new billet specialty steering wheel, which I'm real happy with. It does have the I Did It steering on it. And we put in the Kenwood stereo system, so everything's hidden. It's got actually, what's interesting, there's a motorcycle amp that is underneath the center console because we wanted a fairly powerful amp for the stereo system, but I didn't want to have this great big amp underneath the seat or behind the seats. So this is actually a motorcycle amp that puts out 850 watts. So it's a nice, powerful, small amplifier to go in there. The gauges are all Dakota Digital. Been very happy with those. Let's see, what else can I tell you here? I'll show you the engine bay. The interior is interesting. I bought the interior, so a little bit of history about the truck. Tires, wheels, suspension, interior were all bought out of a truck that had just been finished, and unfortunately it got wrecked. So they decided to rebuild the entire truck. Well, when they did that, the frame, chassis, everything was changed out, so I was able to acquire these tires and wheels, the whole underneath suspension system, the rear drive line, and the interior out of it. So I get asked several times, where are these seats out of? And I'm like, I have no idea. So they like them. It's I believe 6-way or 8-way power seats. I have no idea what they came out of, but they're comfortable. So they work just fine. Interior was actually done by a couple folks, but the latest folks that helped finish it out for me was X-Stitch. They did a wonderful job. I didn't really realize the detail, and as you start going through a build process, you understand why things are maybe a little bit more expensive than you originally planned for. It's a level of detail that they go into. So what I liked about X-Stitch is they actually foam the floorboard so you don't have the ridges in the floorboard, and then they shave it nice and flat before they apply and put in the rest of your interior pieces. So everything fits just right. The tuck on it, where everything's hidden, is very cool. They did a wonderful job there. One of the other custom features that we did on this truck, and the first time I've seen, is there's a lot of modifications for these C10 trucks. And one of them is they put the bumper up front that has the two small round headlights, or I should say fog lights. I like it because you have round headlights. I wanted round lights below, but I didn't necessarily want those small ones that you can't do any adjustment on. So we came up with the idea of actually putting 69 Camaro. If you see the under bezel of a 69 Camaro, the front bezel piece where the fog lights are, they're fully adjustable, and all the bracketry's in there. So we bought a 69 Camaro bezel, sliced it, got the bumpers, fabricated that in, so those are actually 69 Camaro fog lights. Now, they're modern LED lights, but they're 69 Camaro fog lights. And then the headlights are actually, so my blinkers are now in my headlights. So these are DAPA headlights. Again, you pay a little bit more money than you expect for them. I did. It was a little bit of sticker shock for them. But they're really cool because your headlights now, your turn signals are in the headlights, just like a modern car. So you have your driving halos as you're driving. When you turn your blinkers on, it changes from the white to the amber for the flashing blinkers. So it's kind of neat. So again, a lot of modern touches on the vehicle. So one of the things I like about this builder, in particular Marks Customs, is they want the engine to stand out as a jewelry piece. So you don't see hoses, wires, clamps, brackets, anything in here. So everything is tucked, hidden, away. You don't see billet pieces on the firewall where your hoses go. Everything is tucked in and hidden away. It takes a lot more effort and work to get that done, but it gives you that jewelry piece. If anybody watches Ken Diggett Designs, they talk about the engine being jewelry piece. That's what I was trying to achieve here. This cover's kind of interesting. Not too many people have installed these yet. This is actually made by AVS, but it's a really nice, clean cover. You don't see it very often, and then we had it painted match the vehicle of the truck. So Donnie Bright did the paint job on this, got it all cleaned up for me. The radiator's been lowered, pushed forward. The battery's been lowered, pushed forward. Again, the whole idea is to give you a visual so that when you're looking at the vehicle, if you're standing in front of it, you're not looking down and seeing all this wires and electronic components. Now this is actually LS2 engine. This is out of a 2007 SSR. And so it was actually a flood damaged vehicle out of Houston. So we bought the engine and transmission out of the 2007 SSR. Had to completely go through the transmission. All the clutches were fried, obviously from being in the water, going in hot. The engine we didn't have to do a whole lot to. We just checked out the bottom end, checked out the top end, installed a hot cam kit, installed the K&N filter. So roughly about 500 horse. That's obviously to the crank, that's not to the tires, but it has more than enough to move this truck, which used to be, I think they were about 5,000 pounds. It's obviously shaved some metal off it since then, so we're probably 4,000 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. But the 500 horse to the crank moves the truck just fine. And the modern drivetrain makes it nice because you can get in, fire it up, turn the AC on, turn the stereo, and drive it like a fairly modern vehicle, which is what I was trying to do. The hinges are also part of billet specialties. The whole serpentine belt system is part of billet specialties. The air conditioning system is Old Air products. Everything seems to work very well. I've had zero issues with any of it. And what's cool about the adjustments that these gas shocks give you is when you pop the hood, you're not trying to drag the hood up. If you know, when I popped the hood, it just sprung up. And so that's part of the adjustments. You can get some of this stuff. So it makes it kind of neat. So that's kind of the truck in a nutshell. It's, again, 5-year process, but what I tell everybody that's going to go build a vehicle is understand how long it takes to do these things. While looking back, the 5-year, you're impatient and you want to get the truck done, you want to drive it, it helps on the pocketbook because it's not all that money all at once. It's, you know, you're shelling out a little bit of time paying for this. It also gives you time to think about the process of the build because this changed from what it was originally. There's lots of little details that we've done on the truck that I probably wouldn't have done if we had rushed through the process. So it gave me time to talk to friends, go to shows, look at magazines, you know, geek out on everything else from YouTube videos to the surfing the net to going to car shows, going to Good Guys, you know, going to all these different shows. You can go talk to people. Had the opportunity to go to SEMA a couple times, which is great. And the fun thing is you get understanding that the end product is what you want. And so the 5 years it took, although you get impatient during that 5 years, the end result is what I wanted. And so I'm actually kind of happy that it took that long because I did change quite a bit through the process. So, and you find out as you go through this too, you get deals on things or products you want to save up for. I probably would not have installed the Ring Brothers bezel, but when I found it at Good Guys, it's like, I got to have that. So that was another piece you got to save for, put away. So all in all, very happy with the truck. I think that's about it that I can think of off the top of my head.